Hello everybody, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Newcastle are the Sela Cup champions. I've got 40.
Sela Cup champions, they're never seen that.
Exactly.
Jacob Murphy takes it really seriously.
Yeah.
We all do.
We love a bit of silverware here on Tyneside, don't we?
Yeah, we get it all the time. Look, Newcastle United have won 2 games of football. Let's talk about it. This is The Last Word. Yes, we are back. Apologies for the slightly croaky voice. I have lost my voice over the last couple of days, as before it's in the comments. 40, 2 different teams, but the same result.
Yeah.
When you look at the 2 teams that we played,
Yeah.
Where do you think we were more balanced in terms of, do you think defensively we were more balanced in the first game or the second game? How did you see it?
Defensively, yesterday, definitely for sure, because today, a couple errors there, I'm not going to lie to you. The centre-half pairing of Lascelles and Dummett, I don't really see that, going into the Premier League season being a thing. But defensively, definitely yesterday. And then obviously the highlights of Isak just ghosting past players, Thierry Henry-esque. And then obviously today it was just beautiful to see, a stellar performance all rounds. Great attacking flair. 2 goals from Harvey Barnes as well. That's what you want from your new summer signing, don't you? And that kind of picks itself, really, doesn't it? Like, defensively yesterday was strong, and then offensively today was strong as well. So I think it kind of picks itself.
It certainly does. And Lee, attacking-wise, I think Newcastle was stronger attacking-wise today rather than yesterday. I think Newcastle could have scored a lot more today, if I'm being honest. They had a lot more chances. I think on that side of things, even though the front 3 that we had for the majority of that game probably won't be the front 3 that starts against Aston Villa next week, it just shows we've got so many different options. And dare we say that we're not missing out on saint-maximin too much at the minute?
Well, ESM is obviously, he's gone now. I think we probably need to move on from him because it looks like we've got a new star in Harvey Barnes. First game, unofficially here at St James Park, grabs a brace, but nice to see 2 clean sheets because we've been conceding goals, daft goals, all pre-season from slight errors by individuals. So good to have 2 clean sheets, good to see a mixture of 2 basically starting 11s, and it's good to see everybody because a lot of people obviously haven't been to America or Gateshead or Rangers. First time they've seen Newcastle for months on end. It's been a good weekend, including the women as well. Obviously the women are off to a fantastic start, beating a team in their league 3-0, so I know it's a friendly, but overall goals galore. It's going to be intriguing our start of the season because we've got a tough start, which we'll talk about later.
Just want to quickly go back onto Saturday. Sandro Tonali's first time you see him in the flesh.
Yeah.
What did you make of him?
Very impressive. Very impressive again. Kept it very simple. He's not like I wouldn't say he's like a Rolls Royce midfield in terms of like barging past people and all the rest of it like Joelinton, but I would say like he reads the game very well. And again, I think that's something that we need adding to the game in terms of our centre midfield, because you've got Joelinton to do the dog work, you've got Longstaff to do that as well, you've got Bruno for that bits of brilliance, but again, he can pick a pass. I think there was one chance like when he was on the near side towards where you were sitting, and he sprayed a long ball like towards the back post, and just little things like that he just can bring to the occasion. So it'll make a good addition to the side. Whether he starts or not against Aston Villa, that's another thing. But again,
What's your 3 midfielders?
I think we was talking about this yesterday, weren't we? And I don't think he'll start the first game just because like Eddie might want to bed him in gently. So again, I think we'll go with Bruno, Joelinton. They come as a pair, don't they? And then Longstaff, again, he does the doggy work. And then the rest of it picks himself, doesn't it? Miggy starts for you because he scored yesterday, and then Barnes got 2 today. So then that's an easy choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the positions almost pick themselves a little bit, but I still think that midfield 3, Lee, Eddie Howe will still be not 100% sure going into this game what his best 3 is, because Elliot Anderson's knocking on the door. Joe Willock's still injured. People forget how good he was last season as well. Who would the 3 that you would start with next Saturday?
It has to be the 2 Brazilians and then one of the others. For me, Tonali hasn't been great pre-season. He wasn't great in America. However, he's a new signing. He's a different type. The Italian game's a lot slower than the Premier League. So if I might agree with 40 that you might just ease him in after 2-3 games. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's Sean. I wouldn't personally go with Sean. I'd just go with Tonali straight in for me. Chuck him in the deep end, see how he gets on. He's going to sink or swim, and I'm more confident that he'll swim than sink. So it's an interesting. There's battles across the whole of the 11. You look at left wing, who's going to start there. Who's going to start up top? Is Fabian Schär going to be all right for the first game of the season? So,
you all right? I knew you were going to say hello. It's way in the distance.
Unbelievable, Jeff. This is Jeff, everybody. You see him at NUFC Women.
My life is now complete.
Why?
So I go to the Eddie Howe press conference and I got the last question.
What did you ask him?
I just said with Paul Dummett, Jamal Lascelles and Matt Ritchie being in the team and then having all the youngsters on the bench, how good is that for a manager to have such experience bringing on the inexperience? And he said, absolutely. What a great question. And I just thought...
Did your head just go...
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it, really, to be perfectly honest. But what a nice guy, and he's got to talk so well, doesn't he? I think the club's in really safe hands.
Top man, Jeff. An exclusive. Cheers, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, you'll see Jeff more at the women's stuff when we start doing more of them now.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, just as touch on what we were saying here, isn't it great that we've got such a vast amount of midfielders in that position? We've got, I think, seven central midfielders fighting for free spots essentially. I mean, obviously we're in a lot of competitions, but again, the quality that we have to offer, Miley, Anderson, don't forget as well, adding to the likes of Joelinton, Bruno, Tonali, I'm just overwhelmed. Willock as well to come back into it as well. I just thought that's a great, amazing thought just to have. We've got a lot of talent to pick from next season.
Just before we talk about Eddie Howe's press conference, I want both of you to get your thoughts on this. Harvey Barnes with the 2 goals. Look, it is a pre-season friendly. Villarreal obviously are at least a week behind Newcastle in terms of preparations.
Yeah, no slouches though. They finished 5th last season, so we can't,
No, I just mean in terms of getting ready and how Harvey, obviously how they're preparing.
Yeah.
What would you say is obviously the biggest thing for him is getting 2 goals.
Yeah.
But it's being in those positions and putting the goals away. Anthony Gordon had 2 opportunities like that and didn't put them away. Is that the difference?
That's it. We was here yesterday. We've seen Gordon miss a sitter, and yes, he's had a great summer, obviously with England. But again, it's for Newcastle. That's what you've got to be doing it for. Albeit he did have a good summer for England, but yeah, you missed a sitter. Barnes got his opportunity, stuck 2 away, and he could have probably had a hat-trick, to be fair, if he was a bit more ruthless. So,
Sean Sinclair, I know you're going to be watching. He's looking around, shouting, "Who's shouting my guy?" Can you see him down there, Johnny?
Oh, yeah.
He literally hasn't got a clue. Hasn't got a clue his way to him.
Hasn't got a clue. My guy.
Harvey Barnes, discuss.
Let's get serious again. I think Gallagher and loved him. I think them 2 goals down there. I've said to you when I was sitting next to you, him and Gordon just forward thinking, whereas Richie's legs have gone, he likes to now come back. So it's going to frighten a lot of defenders. Harvey Barnes, I think, is a lot more direct on the wing, whereas Gordon wants to come in a lot more. But 2 goals, fantastic start. Pre-season he was just edging his way in, doesn't he? So, but look at his record. Look how many goals he scored last season. Him and Madison and the poor Leicester side have both got transfers. So, I think he is going to excite us. I think he's going to bring goals. ESM, obviously, thank you, but he didn't contribute enough. But I would have liked to kept both, I'm not going to lie. But I think the ESM talk, we now need to squash it and move on from it. Then Harvey Barnes is here, and he looks a really, really good sign, and looking forward to seeing what he does.
Well, you've already had one question from the press conference from Jeff, but let's give you a little bit more. Here's Eddie Howe with all the press.
Another difficult game for us. The Villarreal, typical La Liga team, very comfortable in possession. Kept the ball for long spells of the game, and we had to try and break up their game, and I thought we did that really well and counter-attacked superbly and scored some good goals. Yeah, delighted for Harvey, because I think you want to make a good first impression, and especially here, and he did that today. I thought he looked quick, dynamic, direct, took his goals superbly well. So really pleased, a great day for him. Yes, important that we start well, especially here. We get the crowd in the game as early as we can. It was a fantastic finish from Jacob, who I thought played really well today in an unfamiliar position. And then, as I say, we built on that. I thought second half we were very good. It looks physically strong as well. I think that's the positive thing, probably looking at the 2 games, is we got better in the latter stages of both games. So positive signs regarding our fitness levels.
And that was Eddie Howe. And just like that, we have transformed. I am now taking over. Question for you, everybody. If we were a boy band, what would you call us? That's what I want you to comment. Comment below whilst you're still watching, what would you name our band? And also, if you're still watching, how are you? The like, come on, you've been in for like 10 minutes or so. But I wanted to talk a little bit about pre-season, a little bit, are we ready? And the ticketing system as well, because that's been made. Not so much the ballot and all that, we're not really talking about that, but over the last 2 days, how did you find scanning your phone, getting in and out?
Listen, It was fine for me. I'm glad they kind of rectified the whole can you go in and out situation yesterday. I don't think they meant to do it because just due to, the card payments wasn't, so I don't think they meant to do it, but albeit it was fine for me. I worry a little bit about the technophobes, the older generation who are used to like the tickets and the cars and stuff. How would they find getting up to technology? Because, they might struggle to get in and stuff like that. So it might be a word to the wise, getting there a bit early for next week to get in. So,
I personally found it dead easy.
Yeah.
I saved it to my wallet. A lot of people won't know what that means, the elder generation probably, but a wallet just saves the details and you can scan. A bit like if you've saved your debit card, if you're in a location where it doesn't have Wi-Fi, or you can still scan your debit card as well. Carl Hall has decided to join us randomly as well. Nice camera. Show people that camera, please. Look at that. So, are you jumping in? Yeah, I'll jump in. We're about halfway through. Carl, I'll come to you as well. How did you find scanning, getting it in and out today?
I was actually scanning the QR code, tapping the QR code rather than the top of it, because I didn't actually read it, so not very well for about a minute. But no, it was pretty simple. Once you actually read what was going on, just straight in. There was no issue really, to be fair.
Johnny?
Yeah, no issues. Well, I think what will be the argument is that why is this needed? Why is this needed? Well, it saves a lot of money for the club paper-wise. They'll look at that. It almost actually stops non-fans or fans that sell the tickets on, etc. And I know there's a massive debate on that on Twitter about, home tickets, away tickets, ballots, no ballots, but this will be the future. This will be at every single club across the board, because that is the way the world is going. So look, you'll get used to it after about 2 or 3 games.
Exactly. We've been behind on the times for years, so now we're actually starting to catch up now with a lot of stuff. So again, people need to get with it whether you like it or not, because we're moving with the times now. We want it to be a 21st century club. We've upgraded the training ground, we've got signings in. Now we're starting to do stuff behind the scenes. We've given this a lick of paint as well now, so this is what we need to do now. So like it or love it, this is what we've asked for, and now we're getting it, so get with the times.
You look at concerts, you look at events, everything does it. America, that's all they do in America. That's how you don't actually get a paper. I get the authenticity, that's a big word for me. I like that one. Of having an actual ticket, but you can always print your actual e-card or whatever you want to call it, e-ticket out. Yeah. But look, it is to help save money, as Johnny says, and to help ticket touting, which is funny enough legal in America, but not over here. But obviously we're at Villa home next week, and then Manchester City away. I mean, Johnny will be at that, so that was the same. But let me know what you think on that, because I just wanted to drop that in there. Carl, I'll come to you. Is overall pre-season, we've played, take the Gateshead game out, which was a massive scare, being 2-0 down, we won that. But then we've played 6 sides after that who are all in Europe and we're unbeaten.
Yeah, I just said to Sam, I said this is a competition we've got to look at if we go out of the Champions League, to be fair, because I think we've fared pretty well. It's been very exciting. Harvey Barnes was great to watch today. I thought he did really well in front of goal, but overall I think it's been a really, really good pre-season. Like so, we played really good opposition. It's been great to get brand exposure over in the US of A, and it's another step for the club, isn't it? I think you can tell that we're doing things a bit differently. So really, really, really good pre-season.
It has been a great season. John, I'll come to you then. Is anybody who's then stood out? We talked about the 2 kids who stood out and knocked on the door and say, "Yeah, I'm here."
Yeah, Ellie Anderson, for me, I think he's been probably the best performer in pre-season. As a collective, you look at the amount of games that we've had, Lewis Miley's impressed for obvious reasons. I still think it's a tad bit too early for Lewis Miley. I still think he needs to pretty much go to the gym for 6 months just to kind of, and he is growing like people. Yeah, because people need to remember he's still 17. He's still technically growing as a person. So, but I'm very impressed with what I have seen. It was good to see Tonali in the flesh. Again, I think somebody said it on Twitter that why people judging Tonali after 3 pre-season games in America. You've got to give him a few games in the Premier League, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be very intense week in, week out. Do you throw him in a game against Manchester City, second game of the season? Well, one person will say yes because we spent £55 million on him. One person is saying that might be the worst thing for him because he might get absolutely battered all over. However, there is so many good little bright sparks, and then you see Harvey Barnes putting a performance like that. Anthony Gordon started pre-season pretty well. I didn't think he had moments yesterday, but I still think there's still a piece missing, and that is the left back. I still think we need that left back, but that might be Tina Livramento, who knows?
Yeah, we are going to talk about that in a second. Carl, we had a brief chat just before you turned up about who's the three you start next week in centre mid.
Three that we start. I think for me it would be. Well, it's a difficult one, but I think I'd go with Bruno, Joelinton, and I would start Sean Longstaff. Yeah.
I think most of us have said the two Brazilians, bar one of the other two. 40 then, so pre-season's out the way. The serious stuff now begins next weekend. Is this squad ready to compete with all fronts?
I would say so. Maybe not on all fronts, but it's definitely ready for the Premier League. Like we've improved as a squad. You know, we brought in Barnes over ASM, that brings in goals. We brought in Tonali, who's essentially Shelby's replacement, if you like. We're going to bring in Livramento as well, who adds depth at the right back area. And again, like certain youngsters, like you said, Johnny earlier, Miley and Anderson have come on. So we've impressed. We've improved, and then obviously we've got better there. Yeah, questions about left back area maybe, but at the same time, like we can still get by with what we've got, definitely. So
interesting. What do you reckon, Carl? Because Eddie Howe said in his presser the other day he wants to win. Livramento's done basically because he's been here over the weekend. Where any other position? Is it a centre back to give competition a share, or do we need to go and get a left back?
Yeah, I think we definitely do need a left back, but I think they've got to be looking at bringing Livramento in with a view to putting him there potentially, or switching Trippier over, because we know they can both play either position. But definitely, I've said from day one, I think Johnny was the same. Like, we need a centre half. We need another centre half for cover, in my opinion. I love Jamal Lascelles, but even him, you know, him and Dan Burn, are they enough for cover in the Champions League? Probably not. And anything happens to any one of those four, and we still need another centre half, in my opinion. So that's where I would go immediately. I was shocked about Eddie talking about getting two players in, because he would have known that the Livramento deal was close. Yeah. And we've been talking about FFP and all these things. You just don't actually know what the truth is anymore. So I think the best signing is when it's quiet, we know that there's something happening. But two more players to me is, I'm excited about that. I don't know who that's going to be at all. So
it's interesting. Alex Murphy, I want to shout out him. He's been decent in pre-season as well. He can play a centre back and left back, so there's one as well. Johnny, I'll give you the last word. Overall, this weekend, has it been a success for the club? VisitMalta, the Sela Cup, the women's, has it been a success? And now, do you see this being an annual thing?
Yeah, I think it's going to turn into a bit like an Emirates Cup with Arsenal, and I do think it's been a success. You've seen a lot, 34,000 here today, 36,000 yesterday, 70,000, quick maths, have been across over the last 2 days. That's fantastic, and it will grow and grow because ticket demand is ridiculous, and for some people that have came this weekend, they might not get to a game until next pre-season. That just shows how crazy the demand is right now. But yeah, it's been a success. Women's team doing brilliantly, and obviously 8 new signings then at the standard. It just looked like almost like a new team in the women's team. It was really, really impressive as well. So everything's looking up for Newcastle United. One last little thing I must mention. Some sad news actually in terms of Newcastle United. If you remember Liam Sweeney and John Alder, obviously the tragic accident, I'll say accident, but I'm sure people know what I'm out. Liam Sweeney's father, Barry, unfortunately very sadly passed away today. So Barry was actually a referee. I was a referee once upon a time, and he helped me when I was first starting out as a referee. So really, really sad news. A real loss to the Newcastle United family. But rest in peace, Barry, and condolences to all his family.
Totally agree. Well said. And obviously, he's a miss to the National League as well because he refereed. I see Morpeth tweeted out something really nice about him as well. So yeah, our thoughts are with all of the family and friends, everybody affected. But from us four, we'll wrap up here. If you still haven't dropped a like, how are putting out this content, man? I'm here at 2 o'clock in the morning editing this. But anyways, thank you very much. From 40, is he Uber on its way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Carl as well, dressed like a... Well, let you comment. I'm not worse dressed today, am I, Johnny?
Do you reckon a little...
I prefer not to speak.
Going to do the tarmacking on the A1M.
Lord knows I need help. Right, okay. So that's where you've been. No wonder you've been quiet today. Yeah, he's been protesting, gluing himself to roads. That's it, everyone, from us four. See yous. Bye-bye.